Okay, so I wanted to do a little video just talking about what I've noticed about some of John Mayer's kind of playing, and I guess the key lesson that I think there is to learn from John Mayer's playing is about keeping it simple. And certainly I think John Mayer is known more than anything for kind of great tone. And when you listen to his guitar parts on the album and all this stuff, the guitar parts are really quite well thought out. There's loads of space, particularly like his chord playing. And I was watching some of his live videos, and one of the key things that I'm noticing is that he's doing a lot of triad-based stuff, but like kind of 3 notes at a time, or maybe he's playing the bass sometimes with the thumb over. But a chord like that, it's not this, it's just a really simple. So a G in the bass, a G here on the 5th fret, a B and a D, and you know, then moving up to here, so you then got another triad here, C and G, so a G, a C and an E, and I think he's playing an E down here. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm really noticing, is he's doing quite a lot to keep it simple. And that's allowing him to then to do the fills. But it's also got a really nice effect, kind of tonally. You can easily play that stuff with pick or with thumbs and fingers. So that's kind of what I thought might be worth checking out. So if you're not into this triad kind of stuff, as I wasn't for quite a while, definitely bigger chords I think are where most of us tend to start on the guitar. But these little triads be super useful and also help to kind of illuminate the fretboard in a few different ways. So if you've not learnt this before, maybe start off with a G major triad. So I'm going to focus on these groupings around the D string. So obviously you could do this in other places, but this is really what I'm focusing on, where you've got the bass note kind of available on the lower string, and we're kind of focusing on the D, G and the B string. So finding triads here. So let's not forget you can do inversion. So let's first of all find G major triad. It's first inversion, so we're going to need to move everything up. So we're going to have a B in the bass, so here, then a D and then a G in the top, and that's a voicing that you hear him using all the time, particularly in Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. You hear that going on. He's moving from that A triad to a E major triad in first inversion. So there's that G, there's a G in first inversion, and there's the final kind of inversion there. You've got a D, a G and a B. What might be useful is to take your chords 1, 4 and 5, so we've got a G, we've got a C and we've got a D, and try and plot them all close to one another. So if we're going to take the progression going 1, 4, 5, try and put them all together. So 1, then we could come to our second inversion of the C major, and our closest D major may be here in first inversion, back to G. So then we can move that all up, and we're thinking, okay, right, I need 1, so the G in first inversion, and then the C in root position, and then the D in second inversion, get that. And then our final kind of version of this, you might have your G in second inversion, then a C in first inversion, then D in root position. Useful stuff to know if you're trying to navigate your way around the fretboard, come up with parts, all this stuff. So a G, you could do that for all the other string sets, but for me, when I'm thinking of John Mayer and seeing what he's playing, there's a lot of focus, particularly around this D, G and B string. So one of the other things that I noticed that was kind of cool that was going on, gravity is essentially in G major, and then we come to this section kind of half as much. Section there, we essentially modulate to the minor version of G, so G minor. So we then come up to a G minor. So this is the triad version of G minor. So we could do all of that again, kind of starting with G minor. So there's in root position, there's the first inversion, there's the second inversion. So all of the things that are available for major are also available minor, and John uses a lot of those as well. This chord here is breaking from that mould, so this is like a major 7 with the added 9 here, so an E flat with a D. So an E flat with a G in it, the D, the major 7, and then a 9. That's one of my favourite voicings for a chord 4. And then this voicing for a dominant 7 chord essentially, so we've got a D, an F sharp, the flat 7 there, the C. And then you have the third in the top. Just a really nice, solid sounding voicing, and a bit, maybe a bit less bluesy than your typical. So those are kind of things that I noticed about John Mayer. So I'm going to put together a little bit of an intro now that kind of takes you through some of those shapes, and I'll put the tab and stuff for that up on my Patreon. But I just thought that was just interesting to note that those really simple kind of triads, can really be effective, and I think in a lot of cases sound considerably better tone-wise than these kind of bar chords, where there's more chance that you're not going to necessarily hit all the notes correctly. Everything rings out really nicely with these triads. And also it leaves you some space to do the kind of Hendrixy things, you know, around those chords. So check out those inversions. So I'll put up some major triads, all of those, a maybe an exercise that takes you through some of them, and then also the minor versions. But yeah, check that out. I think maybe that's a really good place to start as well if you're trying to get into this. Just start with that kind of boundary of the D, G and B string being where you're targeting to aim these triads and land on them. And I think that maybe is an easier way than trying to think about the whole fretboard at once as well, and you know, all the different places you could place them. Just try and place the inversions close to one another on the D, G and B string, so you're not doing big jumps. Yeah, hopefully that was vaguely helpful to one or two people interested in that kind of Mayer style, but also maybe that are interested in writing guitar and playing guitar which isn't necessarily so full of notes. You know, these smaller voicings, don't be afraid to keep it simple, they do sound good. Not every chord has to be an Eric Johnson style. Or an Alan Holdsworth big stretch. Sometimes a simple thing is the thing to do. So feel free to like and subscribe if you found that interesting. I'll put up a backing track and the exercises on Patreon for those folks who want to try that out. But yeah, have a look. Catch you in a little bit. I'm using the HX Stomp for these tones, so you can grab that preset in the description if you want.